Hi traders, this is Taylor from thetradinganalyst.com, and we're going to go over a bunch of charts here that our followers have requested from us, and hopefully this video is educational and you might even come away with some profitable trade ideas here on these charts that I'm going to be covering. So take some notes, watch this video, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. So the first thing that I'm going to be covering is Google here, and Google, you can see clearly in a overall uptrend and here in a short-term uptrend as well, which is what we're going to focus on. Middle of November it started here, December we got a touch, and then here in the end of December we got a touch. This uptrend line matches up very well with this 818 support. It was previous resistance. You can see how many times it got rejected right there, broke over it right here, and has virtually remained untouched, untested yet. So more than likely, if we get a consolidation lower to 818, that level is going to get a bounce because we've got horizontal support as well as this uptrend line support as well. The next resistance level above us are these previous highs at about 837. We almost tested it right here. That may count as a test, so we'll see. But I definitely think that that will get really tested sometime in the near future. This looks like a bull flag to me. I'm not too technical on these patterns here. You learn that the hard way over time, that these if you're too rigid on the technical patterns, you're not really going to have a good time trading. So what you want to focus on here is that we're in an uptrend and we're consolidating to the sideways. More than likely, odds favor higher prices when we trade sideways in the direction of the trend. So the trend is up. So when you have sideways consolidation, the trend is more likely to continue, okay? And the trend is up, so that trend is going to continue to the upside more than likely. The next one we're going to take a look at is AKS. And AKS here, a steel name, and what you want to focus on here, long term in a major uptrend here, and you can draw that trend line. That's a pretty nice trend line here. Started in the very beginning of 2016, and then we got a bounce here in September, a bounce here in October, and that level has remained untested just yet. I'm going to draw a Fibonacci retracement level here from the lows here to the highs here, and I'm going to see if that trend line matches up with a fib level. So it kind of does, yeah. Fib level here, the 50% Fibonacci retracement level right here goes across here, and that matches up really well with this previous high right here, as well as this uptrend line. So if we see lower prices near $7, definitely in the short term, that's more than likely going to get a bounce. Let's look at the short term price action here, and you can see that we have a little bit of a triangle break right here to the downside, and it's also, let me see if I can draw a box right here. Also a box break as well. You can see we're trading sideways, sideways, and then we broke outside of that box. So to me, AKS is looking a little bit weak here in the short term. Of course, something that should be noted here is that when you have extremely bullish stocks like AKS is right now, okay? Yes, we've had some, consolidations here. It has seen some downside, but it's relatively been in an almost straight up move here. So typically when that happens and you get a quote unquote short signal like we're getting right here with a break out of this triangle, out of this box, it typically doesn't have as high of a success rate on the short side as it would on maybe another stock who was in a downtrend and it had this same kind of pattern. So can it head lower? Yes, it definitely can head lower, but the probabilities are lower of this pattern playing out. So that's just something to be aware of the major trend, the trend in the market is up, the trend in AKS is up, so it's kind of hard to fight this bullishness. But again, it can head lower. It broke out of this pattern here. You can definitely see lower prices, but you got to keep in mind how bullish it has been, and a lot of these patterns fail on a bullish stock like this. But if we do see lower prices, we've got some support down here, very nice support at about $7, and to me that's a buy zone. We're going to take a look at IMPV next. And IMPV, let's see what I can see on that. And the good thing about doing these videos here live without looking at these charts ahead of time, of course, a lot of these charts I've already looked at, so I have them annotated. But the ones that I don't, you can see me live doing it, and that should be a good learning experience. So I drew this uptrend line from the low here. We've got a touch here, here, and here. And this is very easy stuff, okay? You can do it yourself, and you can see right away all an uptrend is lower highs, higher lows, as you can see right here, and you can just draw a line connecting those lows, okay? We also have resistance up here. You can clearly see that from the gap down right here, the high. That was resistance here, here, a touch there, and right here. More than likely, if we get a clean break over this resistance level, we're going to come up here and fill the gap. See how there's this big gap right there? Gaps oftentimes like to fill, okay? So if we break over this resistance level, how many times did we get rejected? Right there. So we'd be into the gap. More than likely that gap would fill up there if we break that $41 level here on IMPV. The next one we're going to take a look at is BABA. And BABA, this was a nice one that myself and the members of the tradinganalyst.com actually got long on here on this day right here. And I'm telling you this so that you can learn from this. We had a downtrend right here on Alibaba, right here, and you can see it kind of had a wedge look to it as well. You can draw that right there. I was getting tight, 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 and then we had our first real long signal here with a gap up over this the previous resistance level of the past week. And we also gapped over that downtrend line. That was a long signal for us, and we gained about 250 to 300% on some call options, and we took some profits up here at $95 because that was a main resistance. Now, what can we expect with Alibaba? Well, to me, it looks like Alibaba is consolidating sideways here and is eventually going to continue to the upside because the trend is up. Okay, overall, if you look at Alibaba, the trend is up. Okay, you don't need any complicated analysis to see that the trend is up. You've got a low here, a higher low, higher low, higher low right here. And just so you know, when you draw these trend lines here, obviously if I draw a trend line, well, not obviously, but you can see here these trend lines, go through it. If you start it from this low over here, you'd have to draw it all the way down here. So you can't always draw a perfect trend line, and you don't need to draw a trend line to know that the stock is in an uptrend, okay? Clearly we're in an uptrend, we're making new highs, we're making higher lows. Okay, so the trend is definitely up, the market is up, BABA is a bullish stock. So right here, again, same thing that we covered on, what was it? Google was trading sideways here above that resistance level after gapping up big, breaking out very nicely here, consolidating sideways. More than likely, the trend is going to continue. That's just how the probabilities in the market work, okay? So same thing that we saw right here. The trend was down right here. So we saw a break right there, trading sideways pretty much, and then we broke down right here, okay? Saw a little consolidation, broke down. Here we go, sideways consolidation, broke down, okay? Now that the trend has changed to back up here in the near term, we can expect this trend to continue up. Okay? So the next one we're going to take a look at is BlackBerry, and this one, I'm going to delete these drawings here just because I haven't looked at BlackBerry in a while, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the right levels here. So first thing I see is support just below $7. You can see we bounced off of here in November, here again the end of December, so we're right there. Another thing that I'm seeing is some lower highs being made. We can draw a trend line right there. So it started here from the high right here, and you can see how many times it's respected that angle. So that, in the near term, we are in, I wouldn't call it a downtrend because we're not really making lower lows, okay? But we made a low here, slightly lower here, and just barely a low here. So technically, yeah, in somewhat of a downtrend, but not enough for me to really call this any kind of a meaningful trend. So we do have resistance up here that you want to be looking for against that downtrend line, and then the support that if you're bullish on BlackBerry, just below $7. If it breaks about $6.80, then we're going to head even lower here on BlackBerry. The next one we're going to take a look at is ARRY. And ARRY, you can see very bullish here. And this is one that I have tracked here. We broke over these previous highs. You can see how many times it got rejected here in 2015. You can see we broke over that level and then just traded sideways against it. And remember here, that's what they do. They trade sideways as they break over resistance level. Same thing with Google and BABA. Same thing is happening right here, and you can see traded sideways, digested those gains, and then boom, continued to the upside here, and that's almost, what, a 40% gain right there after breaking over that resistance and trading sideways. So this is very simple stuff that you can follow along. I'm going to look at the weekly chart here so you can see how important this level was. You can see all the way back to 2008, it was a resistance. You can see, boom, how many weeks? That's about 5 or 6 weeks that got rejected at that level here. Big resistance, big resistance. Oh, and I wanted to touch on one thing really quick. Someone on the YouTube channel asked me on my last video, how far back do you go on information on price, because I'm assuming that, beyond 5 years ago, those prices don't matter. Well, they do matter. They matter all the way back to as soon as the stock IPO, okay? I don't know when that was for ARRY. Okay, all the way back to about 2000 here. So all these prices matter, okay? I'll draw the support down here at about just below $2. You can see how many times it bounced. Several times here against that $2. And if for some reason ARRY heads back down there, even if it's 3-4 years from now, this is going to be a level here that price is going to have a memory, okay? It's going to remember that price, and it's going to matter. It's always going to matter, okay? So the next one we're going to take a look at is Tesla. Okay, so Tesla here, this is another one that we've been following along with. We like to follow these big movers here, these high beta names. They have some nice profitable option trades available if you catch the moves correctly, and we do that quite often at the Trading Analyst. So looking at this chart here, I know the person that requested this said short term, but I'm going to go over the longer or the mid term here, and then I'm going to cover the short term because I want you guys to be able to learn from this kind of a setup here so you can catch moves like this in the future. So we were in a downtrend here. Look at how many times it's getting rejected at this level. Okay. And not only did we break over that downtrend right here, and you can see how big of a move we got since then, but we also had a false breakdown. So we had support here at about 193, support, 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 and you can clearly see it got rejected here, came up, got rejected, broke down, and you can see that was a good short signal. It's in a downtrend, okay? Broke below a support, okay, but what did it do? Barely went anywhere. See, it tried to test it again, broke back down, tried to test it again, and then we broke over these highs right there. Not only did we break over the downtrend line, but we broke over these previous highs, and we broke back over this resistance, okay? Broke back over that resistance, so that made it a false breakdown here, and that was a very, very, very nice setup here on the long side here. So congrats if you caught it. So we broke over this 235 resistance, and now we came into this 240, 245 resistance based off of these lows right here, and that was a great short signal right there as well. So right now the trend is up on Tesla, and I want to use this as an example right here. Tesla likes to move in vertical directions. You can see we broke down here, and this is just a straight V bottom right there. Okay, straight V bottom, and you can see it just went straight up. So what you want to look for is, if you're long on Tesla, okay, you can wait for some kind of pattern like this to develop to get out. Okay, I'm not telling you how to trade it, but I just want to explain that they don't go straight up and they don't go straight down. Well, in this case it goes straight up, but a lot of the times when it goes down, you get an opportunity to get out. Okay, you get an opportunity and you get a pattern like this that develops, and then it heads lower. Okay, so right now the trend is up, and more than likely it's going to continue up. But if it doesn't, you're going to see some kind of a pattern here develop. You're going to see some sideways trading. You're going to see some kind of a downtrend develop where we'll make this high here, and then we'll make a lower high, and then we'll make a lower high, something like that, something like it did over here. Okay, you can see that in the short term, you can just draw that right there. That's a downtrend. Okay, high, lower high, and then we broke that support. Very simple stuff. And if you got long down here, you could have stopped out on this action right here. So did you sell the exact top? No, but you caught most of that move. Okay, so that's just an idea here, just something that you can kind of play with and think about for your future trading. The next one we're going to take a look at is Palo Alto Networks. And PANW here, you can see we've got a high here, a lower high here. So that's a resistance up here at that downtrend line. We also have resistance up here from the high of this gap down, as well as the lows here. So it's about, between 145 and 144 is going to be that resistance level, because of the lows here and the highs here right here. So if we break over that, we're going to come up here to at least that downtrend line right here. But in the meantime, it is a resistance level, and it's something that you want to be aware of here on the Palo Alto Network chart. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. If you found this video at all useful, keep watching, keep studying, keep learning, and visit us at www.thetradinganalyst.com for your free 7-day trial.